Ripping up top rock and digging on down. With picks and shovels they tunnel the ground. The Minto Miners built their town on Minto Cove.
I grew up in the Black Diamond. That's where I was born. And we had a ball field right behind our house. Back then, of course, we didn't have, our entertainment was outside. Back then, soccer was, big among the men. Minto has some really good soccer teams. My dad played soccer. In fact, he's in the Minto Wall of Fame or soccer team that he was on. And it was just natural to gravitate towards the ball field, and that's where we spent most of our time. So when growing up, like with men playing soccer, men playing softball, a lot of us kids got involved as well, because if they hit the ball a little further, well, there was us who chased it and brought it back. So that's how you get your start, and that's how I got my start anyway. Eventually, got old enough to play myself. I was 14 years old when I started playing for the men. Back at that time, Newcastle Sluggers was the ball team from the Black Diamond area, Newcastle Bridge area, and North Minto had a team. And North Minto, they played up here behind what they call the mud dumps. They had a field there. Each year, when the playoffs would come around, we would play off with North Minto. That's how it started. And either one of us, either Newcastle Bridge or Newcastle Sluggers or North Minto, would eventually be the winner, and they would go on to the Fredericton District and play in the Fredericton District. And then the winner from there would go on further to play, teams like St. John, Moncton, or whatever. Armand, Caterini, and Donnie Brogan kind of got their heads together, a few of the older fellows, and decided, hey, if we're going to go anywhere, we better join forces. So that's what they did. They joined the North Minto team and the Newcastle Bridge Sluggers.
There's all different teams in Minto. Right, there were 6 or 7 different teams. We'd all play against each other. We'd always get beat by Fredericton because we didn't have the best players on the one team. And in 1957, they decided that they were going to dissolve all these teams and form one good team with the best players that was here. So we did that, and we started winning. In 57, we won everything.
1957 was the first year that we won the district. We went on, played Fredericton, beat Fredericton, and went on and eventually won the Maritime Championship. And that was the start of it for the number of championships at the Minto Miners. We changed the name to the Minto Miners at that time too.
58, we won everything. 59, we lost the Maritime Championship. And in 60, we won again. In 61, we lost to St. John in the finals. And then after that, everything just started breaking up.
Well, I would think that probably the number of championships that we won, that was, that's probably the highlight, is like I say, the number of championships that I was involved in. 1957, we were Intermediate A, and we won both the provincial and the maritime championships. Then in 1958, we won the NB Intermediate A, but we lost out in the provincials. And then in 1959, we moved up to Senior B ball, and we became both provincial and maritime champs. And in 1960, we moved up to Senior A, and we won both the provincial and the maritimes. And then in 1967, they had a centennial championship in Logieville, and we were part of that, and we went to that, and we won that championship as well.
It continued pretty good. It was real good. We also had some good players. Maurice, Vandenborre, Marcel, Altine, Willie Hoyt, right. Donnie Brogan, Kenny Martin, myself, Marvin Betts, Lockie Holton, Harold Holton. When we started playing, we started using gloves. And in '57, we never used gloves before that. The only person that had a glove was the first baseman and the catcher.
And then in 1968, we played Senior B again, and we were provincial and PEI champions. In 1970, we were the Senior A provincial champions again, and in 1973, we were Intermediate A provincial and maritime champions again. And in 1974, we were Intermediate A provincial champions again. That's probably the biggest achievement, through my career anyway. And it was a thrill to be inducted into the both Minto and provincial Wall of Fame too,
It was the year we played the Moncton MAS. I think it was 1950, 58. We were playing them in the finals. It was best of 3. They came down here for the first game. They beat us 5-0. So we went back there, and we beat them 3-2 in the first game. And we beat them 2-1 in the second game. And I hit a home run each game to win the
center field, and I never deviated from that all my life. That's right. It's the only position I ever played. Some people move around a little bit by infield, outfield, or whatever, but I was center fielder all my life. We sort of had to depend on the community to help us, back then, there wasn't a whole lot of money flowing around for sports and so on, so we would put on the drive to try to get a little bit of money from the community, and they always supported us well, and so we were fortunate enough to be able to, go to those places. Hearts ball field, that was mostly a baseball field, but we played a championship there with Halifax one year. That's the only time that I can remember playing at Hearts Field. Most of the time we played either North Middlefield behind the mud dumps or the Black Diamond Field. Hartsfield was a real nice field. It had a nice fence around it. It was just a regular baseball field. Armand Caterini was a mainstay at first base, and a big part of the Minto Miners, no question. In my opinion, he should have probably been into the provincial Hall of Fame as well. Armand Caterini he was an all-around good hockey player, good bowler, good softball player. Armand was good at just about everything that he tried. Very athletic, and very well-rounded.
Ripping up top rock and digging on down with picks and shovels they tunnel the ground. The Minto Miners built their town on Minto Cove. Now a Minto Miner is a proud, hard man. He raises his brood the best that he can by the sweat of his brow and a pick in his hand, loading out Minto Cove. Some men work and they earn their bread when the sun is hot and high overhead. Some men's labors go on through the cool of the night.